Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maitrisha. I hope you all are doing great. I hope you all are healthy and safe. Today I'm back again with a topic of IELTS general reading test. Someone had asked me to create a video on true, false and not given, and so today I'm going to share with you the tips, and also I'll be sharing answers of a question paper. We are going to solve a question paper, so make sure that you watch this video till the end. Make sure that you give your answers very honestly, because this is for you, this is not for me. I have already cleared my IELTS reading test and I was able to score 8.5 with the tips that I'm going to share with you and with a lot of practice. So before I share with you the tips, please make sure that you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so that you get notified whenever I post my new videos. And also, if you like my content, then please make sure that you like and comment and you share my videos with anyone you know who is appearing for IELTS general test. IELTS reading test is not that tough and it is not that easy. It does require a lot of practice. That is what I had done before my IELTS reading test. I had given almost 14 to 15 reading tests. Now, if you want to first know the basic tips that you should follow for IELTS reading test, then please make sure that you first watch this video. I'm going to link it here, and then you come and see this video. So in this video, we are just going to focus on true, false and not given. There are some particular tips that I want you to follow because I was able to score 8.5 because of that. My very first tip is that in IELTS reading test, apart from match the heading, like for the other questions about yes, no, true, false or fill in the blanks, the answers will be in the order. Meaning, if there are 5 paragraphs and if you are able to find the first 2 answers in the first paragraph, then the following answers will be mostly in the flow in the next paragraph. But in match the heading, it is not going to be the case. And also in true, false, yes, no and fill in the blanks, in 99% cases the answers will be in the flow of the passages. So you don't have to go back and reread the passages. So that is my first tip, that always pay attention to the flow. Try finding the answers in the flow itself. Don't go to and fro between the passages. Second tip is that when you read the passage, make sure that you highlight the name and the year. This is going to be very important, because if at all in the questions, if you're asked about a particular name or if you have to connect a name, then it will be very easy for you to scan through the paragraph. My third tip is that always pay attention to the synonyms. There are chances when in IELTS reading test, you will have to relate the meaning of a particular word. Say for example, like even when I was appearing for IELTS reading test, I had come across a very nice example for this. So the example goes like this. In the question paper, it was written that the child was bilingual, and in the question paper it was written that the child spoke 2 languages. So you have to connect the dots, 2 languages and bilingual. So that is how the meaning of some particular words might be changed, and that's when you don't have to get confused, but you have to try understanding that the meanings are same. It's just that the words are paraphrased, so that for us to catch the answers it might be a little difficult, but if you give attention to the detail of the words, then you'll be able to find the answer. My fourth tip is that, which I followed, although some people don't follow that, but when I got the reading question paper, I actually did not read the entire passage, because I was aware that the chances might be in order. So first I went and read the question, and then I went and read the paragraph. That way I was able to save my time. Again, this fourth suggestion is totally on you. You have to analyze which method works for you best when you practice at home. After giving 14 tests, I was pretty confident that this is the flow that I'm going to follow. Like, I'll read the question first and then go back to the paragraph and find the answer. Also, in the match the heading, it is not going to be that easy. But if you want me to create a video on match the heading, then please drop a comment below. I can do that for sure. And also, please make sure that you watch the IELTS reading general video first and then come and watch this video, because in that video I have given all the detailed tips. This is just for true, false and not given. So these were my 4 tips. There is nothing rocket science in this, but these 4 tips I would request you to follow. Now we are going to go and solve the question paper. On the screen you will be able to see the entire question paper and the questions, and for this I really want you to be very honest with yourself. You have to pause this video, you have to answer all the questions first and then resume to my video, and then I'll show you how did I solve the questions, and if at all you have made any mistakes in the answers, then you will be able to relate and you will be able to figure it out, like how you should be answering. So again, please make sure that you pause the video. I believe that you guys have honestly answered all the questions, and then you are seeing this video because now we are going to see the answers. Now I'm going to explain to you why a particular answer is true or why it is false or why it is not given. So I'm going to do the reverse method, which I had told you already. I'm going to first read the first question. You should not arrive more than half an hour before your allocated starting time. Now we'll go back to the first paragraph. It says, I'm not even going to read the first two lines because it is very clear that the first pointer, the bulletin point that you see, it says your start time is indicated by the color of your body number in this pack. It is also printed on the address label of the envelope. Please arrive no earlier than 30 minutes before that time. Very clear, very easy. It is already given that you are not supposed to arrive 30 minutes earlier before that time, and the question also says that you should not arrive more than half an hour before your allocated starting time. There are chances, like when you are very much anxious about the test, when you are stressed, then you might not pay attention to this detail of half an hour and 30 minutes, because in the paragraph it is written 30 minutes, whereas in the question paper it is asked half an hour. So the answer of this question is true. It was very clear, it was simple. Moving on to next. Your rider identity card will be sent to you before the event. Now I'm going to go to the next paragraph. We allocate an equal number of cyclists for each start time to ensure a steady flow. Please keep to the time you have been given so we can keep up to your schedule and avoid delaying other riders and prevent bunching further down the route. An information point, toilets and refreshment stand will be open. Okay, there is no information, I cannot find, and instead of continuing reading the entire paragraph just to find the answer, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the third question. Third question says that some roads may have normal traffic flow on them. I'm going to try finding the answer for third one first so that I know where exactly have I supposed to find the answer for the second question, because there was no information. So currently I believe that the answer might be not given, but again we need to double check. So going to the third question, some roads may have normal traffic flow on them. Let's go to the following paragraph. Ride carefully. I believe the third answer will be in this paragraph. We put together as many facilities as possible to help ensure you have a trouble-free day, but we also rely on you to ride safely and with due consideration for other cyclists and road users. Although many roads are closed to oncoming traffic, this is not always the case, and you should be aware of the possibility that there could be vehicles coming in the opposite direction. Very clear. If you see, the third question says that some roads may have normal traffic flow on them, which is what is specified in the paragraph that I just read. There could be vehicles coming in the opposite direction. So the answer to third question is true. Now I know very clearly that in between of these two paragraphs, there was nothing about the rider identity card. So I'm clear that the answer of the second question is not given. You need to check what you have written. Moving on to the next question. The fourth question is, helmets are compulsory for all participants. Now we are going to continue reading. Wear a helmet. It says very clearly. Also, we'll see the above one, follow all instructions. Every effort is made to ensure that the route is well signed and marshaled. Please obey all directions from police and marshals on the route. If you hear a motorcycle marshal blow his or her whistle 3 times, move left. Okay, there was nothing about helmet. We are going to move to the next. Wear a helmet. Every year we are delighted to see more riders wearing protective helmets, but we would like to see every cyclist on the ride wearing one. More than half of reported injuries in cycling accidents are to the head, and a helmet gives the best protection when the head hits the ground. Now again, if you see, the fourth question says that helmets are compulsory for all participants, but in the paragraph there was nothing about compulsion. There was nothing like it is mandatory or you are supposed to wear a helmet. They are just advising that you should wear a helmet, but the choice is yours. But they have also stated that the precautions should be taken because there are many road injuries because people are not wearing a helmet. So the answer to fourth question is false, because there is no compulsion written in any of these paragraphs. Moving on to fifth, refreshments are free to all the participants during the ride. Let's see. Refreshment stop. See, it is so easy to find the answer in this one. Look out for these along the route. Most are organized by voluntary clubs and their prizes give you real value for money. Very clear. They are saying that there is a prize associated. There is nothing mentioned about free refreshment. Also, they have written that they are raising money for their local communities and the British Heart Foundation, so please give them your support. So the answer to fifth question is false, because refreshments are not free. You have to pay some amount of money for the food. Sixth, if you need a rest, you must get off the road. So let's see the following paragraph. I'm not going to go and read the above paragraph because I'm very clear that I was able to find the answers of all the questions, like question number 1 to 5 in the above paragraph. So I'll directly read the next paragraph. Rain or shine, be prepared. In the event of very bad weather, watch out for signs to wet weather stations. En route, good waterproof like a cycle cape are essential. Our first aid staff can only support bin liners, and by the time you get one, you may be very wet. However, the English summer is unpredictable. It may be hot, so don't forget the sun protection cream as well. I was not able to find an answer for sixth. I'm going to continue reading the seventh question. First aid staff can provide cycle capes. See, we just read about first aid thing, so we are going to reread. Our first aid staff can only supply bin liners, and by the time you know, so cycle cape is something that you should carry because it is essential. The first aid staff cannot provide cycle capes. They are going to provide you bin liners. So the answer to question number 7 is false. First aid staff can provide bin liners and not cycle capes. But there are chances that you may get confused because it is written that cycle cape are essential, but when they say they are essential, meaning you have to carry, they are not going to provide you. And if you go back to question number 6, if you need a rest, you must get off the road. There was nothing specified in this entire paragraph about resting. So according to me, the answer is not given, and not given is the right answer. Moving on to the last one. Bike events will charge you for the return of your bike. Very clear. We'll just go and read the last paragraph. We will try to pick up your bike for you on the day. Call bike events no more than 2 weeks after the ride to arrange collection. Sorry, we cannot guarantee this service, nor can we accept liability for any loss or damage to your bike. Bike events will hold your bike for 3 months, after which it may be disposed. You will be charged for all costs incurred in returning your cycle. Bike events will charge you for the return of your bike. And the last sentence says the same. You will be charged for all the costs incurred in returning your cycle. So the answer to the last question is true. So this was the way if I was in your place, then I would have solved the question paper. I hope that you were able to understand that why do I read the question first and then go to the paragraph, because honestly in yes, no, true, false and fill in the blanks, answers are in order. And if at all you are not able to find the answer, you can move to the next question, leave that particular question for a while, and then you'll be able to easily relate, okay, first answer is in the first paragraph, fourth is in the third paragraph, meaning second and third will be in between. That way you'll be able to save some amount of time, according to me, because this is the method that I had used during my exam. So these were the tips which helped me in scoring 8.5 in IELTS reading general test. I hope you were able to learn something, and I hope that out of 8 questions you were able to at least give 5 or 6 right, maybe. Do let me know in the comments how many were right when you gave the exam first by yourself without cheating, without seeing the answers. Do let me know in the comment section, and I hope that this video was useful for you. I hope that you were able to understand how you are supposed to answer true, false and not given question. See, again, let me just remind you that in true, false, not given, you are not supposed to use your mind. You are supposed to just relate and find the answers. Whereas in yes, no, not given, you are supposed to think from the author's point of view. If you want to know the difference, go and check out my first video. I have linked it here. You'll be able to understand what difference exactly it is between true, false and yes, no, not given. I hope this video was useful for you. I hope that with these tips you will be able to score good marks in your IELTS reading general test. All the very best for your exam, and if you liked my video, then please make sure that you like, comment below your score, and also please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. If you still want more videos on IELTS, may it be reading, speaking, listening or writing, but only for general, then please let me know in the comment section. I'll create more videos for you guys. Till then, take care, stay safe, all the very best, and don't stress a lot. Just practice.